Welcome to this edition of Inside View. I'm Tom Harmer, your county administrator. My guest today is Jeff Molesby. Jeff, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's great. Well, Jeff is the director of our Office of Business and Economic Development. But before we start talking about that, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your life before Sarasota County. Before you came to work here, let's talk a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. Native Floridian, born in Winter Haven, grew up there and educated there, and I got professionally involved in Major League Baseball, and which brought me to Sarasota County. In 2003, I was director of Florida operations for the Cincinnati Reds.
Very good. So sports background for
Major,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of involvement. Worked for a few other teams before that. I started my career actually as a 10-year-old working in the clubhouse for the Boston Red Sox during spring training in Winter Haven. And after college, got a job with the Los Angeles Dodgers, from there to the New York Mets, and most recently, as I mentioned, with the Cincinnati Reds here in Sarasota.
Very good. Well, I think that sports background helps us. I know sports tourism is a big deal here, and it's also some of the things that you get involved in.
Absolutely.
So any hobbies or other things you want to share with the viewers?
Yeah, I love travel, music, reading, getting outdoors here and enjoying a lot of the beautiful amenities we have, the natural beauty we have in Sarasota County. So other than that, I try to stay below the radar.
Well, and I think you and I have talked before I ever even came to Sarasota County. You're one of the first employees I met. You didn't work for Sarasota County at that time. You were with the Reds.
Exactly.
And I was in the private sector, and we had a chance to work together on a project. So you were the first one to call me when I was offered the position to come here. So I'm not sure everyone knows what the Office of Business and Economic Development does. Can you share a little bit about what your department does?
Absolutely. As a unit, we are obviously the tip of the spear for Sarasota County government's economic development efforts, which are centered primarily around looking to help diversify our economic base, address the workforce needs that our community has as we go forward into this century. So we are the tip of the spear in leading the charge with our partnership and collaboration with the Economic Development Corporation of Sarasota County, a contractor, if you will, for the county government. So we manage that relationship and are the tip of the spear for the efforts of the county.
Good. And you talked about managing that relationship and that contract that we have with the EDC.
Right.
But you also manage some other agreements and contracts with some of the other partners that the county has.
Exactly. They also fall under the auspices, if you will, of economic development under that umbrella. We manage the relationship with Visit Sarasota County. VSC is our tourism board, if you will. The Arts Alliance, and they do tremendous things here in our community, as you know. They are the organization that oversees the grantee program for all of the wonderful organizations that we have here. And then we have a relationship with the Fair Board, the Fair Association, and I manage that relationship as well.
I know we talk about your role as well as an advocate for local businesses. Can you describe that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think the word ombudsman comes to mind quite often when we think of that part of what we do. Businesses can call us, businesses have a problem, or even if we self-identify a regulation or something that's a hindrance to our businesses trying to expand their operations commercially in our community, if it's a sign or if it's a permit or whatever the case may be, we have concierge type service where we are able to, if you will, walk them through the process or get answers for them and helping them to manage and navigate the bureaucracy of local government as best we can.
Well, I think that's really important for the business community to have an office and employees that they can reach out directly to say, hey, I need help.
Right.
And you do that, but you also take a proactive look at our ordinances, our codes, our requirements as well, and how they may impact businesses.
Absolutely. We do take a look-see, and from time to time we work with our colleagues in planning and development services and say, hey, we think this is an issue. Can we address it at the staff level or maybe even elevate it to the administration level? If not there, then we take it to the board to see if we can get it corrected.
And you have a relatively small team, but a very important responsibility.
Yep.
How do you provide those services throughout the county?
We diversify a little bit and divide up, if you will, a little bit of what we do and how we do it. Strategically, we have a liaison that is deployed to South County. She spends most of her time, if not all of her time, in South County addressing those areas and providing that level of service. And I, in turn, try and handle it here up in the quote-unquote north part of our county.
Gotcha. Are there any interesting statistics or fun facts you'd want to share with the viewing audience today?
There's one that comes to mind. We, as you know, we lead the effort for recruiting and retaining businesses here, and a part of that is our incentive program, which the board established and has judiciously utilized over the years to attract and retain companies here. As a part of that, there's a job requirement creation component. And companies have promised to create a certain number of jobs, and we've incentivized it for them. But they've created more jobs than they promised to create. So we're at 108% of the promised jobs that have been incentivized. Companies have actually created 108% of what they said they would.
Yeah, that's good. That doesn't always get reported.
No, people don't often hear that one, but we like that. We pride ourselves on it, and we'd like to share that with the community.
Well, and I know over the past few years, the county has shifted to a pay-for-performance incentive program. So there's typically not a payment up front to a company, but once they do the things they said they were going to do.
It is pay for performance. You perform. One, create the job, and two, retain it for a certain period of time, then you get the incentive. It is not upfront. We did make those revisions. We had some non-performers, if you will, and we corrected those, and we've been in pretty good shape ever since.
Very good. So are there 3 to 5 things that you think the public should know about your department, or a little bit of history about your department, et cetera?
Yeah, I think it's little known that we were actually formed formally in 2012. We came together as a unit. We have a lot of things that we're involved in. We kind of look at ourselves as being the thread that weaves throughout the tapestry of local government. We really kind of touch everywhere, including the workforce housing initiatives that the board has directed us to undertake. We're involved in, as you said, many sports activities, the rowing venue, obviously now involved with the negotiations for the Atlanta Braves. And we're proud of our relationship, our partnership with most recently the University of Florida and the Innovation Station, the first, if you will, extension office for the College of Engineering at the University of Florida is here in Sarasota County, and we were played a pivotal role in bringing that here. So we're really proud of that one.
Yeah, that was a big announcement last year. Yes,
exactly.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So if you know that customer service is such an important thing that we emphasize, how does your department play a role in that effort?
Well, we offer, again, the outreach efforts that we make. We go out and actively participate and seek opportunities to help businesses. We also have a weekly newsletter that we send out. So businesses or residents alike can certainly come to our website and sign up to receive that, which provides information about what the board's doing, what's going on in our community business relations wise. And also we offer a help email address, if you will. It's called bizhelp@scgov.net, bizhelp @scgov.net.
So if you're a business that wants to expand in Sarasota County that already exists here, or you're a new business thinking about Sarasota County, do they call you or do they call the EDC?
Well, they can do a number of things. They can start actually with the state of Florida. Enterprise Florida is one way in which we get our leads, so they can start at that level. If that's the method, they would then, Enterprise Florida would then connect with the EDC, who would in turn connect with us. They could also skip the state, come to the EDC directly, and follow the process from there. Or sometimes we, in fact, do get contacted by those businesses. Now, the EDC, as I mentioned earlier, is our contractor, and it's the starting point, the intake point, if you will. I refer to them often as our field underwriters. They do the background, they do the compatibility, if you will, for different types of incentives. They do the research on the principles of the company and the company itself for eligibility purposes. So they then would forward that information to us, make the application, and we handle it from there.
Okay, so if someone wanted to contact your department for more information, how do they do that?
They can do it again by that BizHelp email address, or they can call us at area code 941-861-5247.
Yeah. And they can always use 861-5000 as a general number and get a hold of anyone in the county, including you
yes,
or your staff.
Absolutely.
So, if there was one message that you really felt was really important for the viewers to take away from this and what you do, what would it be?
I think it's important to realize, what we do and how we do it. But the important thing is that we are here primarily trying to help diversify our economic base and create a workforce that is sustainable, an economy that's sustainable. We learned great lessons from the Great Recession, and we needed to add another leg to our stool. We love tourism, we love the housing industry, but when we had the last downturn, we took a tremendous hit. So we need another leg, at least one, maybe two legs to the stool. So we're trying to diversify our base and look at targeted industries that will help us do that. So those are the things that we're looking to do. We're not giving away money. As we mentioned earlier, companies have to earn it. They have to retain the business that they said they're going to do. And we're looking to help those types of businesses that come to our county, help us diversify our economic base and help us employ locals.
Good. And we kind of hit on this, but I think business climate is really important to the business sector, but also to the county and the community overall. And so
Exactly.
and I think you and your office kind of have the key to the business climate
Absolutely.
of our organization
Absolutely,
to help
we do.
make sure that we're interacting in a proactive way.
Yeah, if we are deemed by those looking to come here and do business or stay here to be less than business friendly, we're not in good shape. So we work hard to build relationships, stay in contact, keep our fingers, if you will, on the pulse of the business climate in our community, and try and address those areas where we may have some shortfalls.
Good. Well, I've heard you say this before, but everyone's an economic developer.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Whether all the county employees, everybody in the business community, you can certainly attest to the fact that we had to reach out to a lot of people to entertain this idea with the Atlanta Braves. In the business community, hotels, car dealerships, the airport, and a whole lot of other restaurateurs. We had to contact them, ask them to keep this quiet when we were working under the confidentiality agreement, and every one of them did. They, without question, said to me, "Tell us what you need. We're here to help. We want to have this happen in our community." So we are all, whether you are telling your friends and family about how beautiful Sarasota is and they should come here, you're an economic developer. So we are all economic developers.
Good. And a lot of times companies, whether it's a site selector for a Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 or a Fortune 50 company, or it's a CEO or some other senior level corporate officer, they may go out there and do early due diligence and we don't even know it. But they may be at the local cafe, they may be at a store, they may be out in the community, they may stop by the chamber, and they're doing their own research.
Exactly. They talk to Uber drivers.
Yes.
They talk to everybody in the community. We don't even know they're here a lot of times, but they're doing their due diligence. And when we find out later on that we are in fact down to the short list, they tell us, they share those stories with us. I heard this from my Uber driver. I heard this from the restaurateur, the server in a restaurant. So, or the hotel employee told me this about your community. So everybody plays a role.
Yeah, great examples. Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, good. Well, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us today, this edition of Inside View.